Here we go. How's it going, everybody? My name is Cory with the Meals team at Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here with Taylor Vanoy. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the market. We're going to talk about interest rates, and then we're going to talk about the biggest challenge that we are seeing sellers face right now in this market. So, Taylor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. So we're going to hop right into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen so everybody can see some of these numbers that we're going to be going over today. All right, so for starters, Taylor, why don't you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing with some of these numbers and some of these market trends?
Okay, so we'll start with Grayson County as a whole. And I know we kind of go through these monthly, and for the most part, we're still seeing the same trends. Grayson County as a whole, median sales prices up, active listings are down, and closed sales are up, which is just still causing for really low months on inventory. The demand is still there for housing. So pretty much all that is same across the board.
Yeah.
Moving over to Cook County, same thing, median sales price up, active listings down, closed sales were flat. Months on inventory was 1.2 compared to 1.6. So same thing there. Months on inventory is just really, really low. Now, Fannin County is kind of where we see a little difference, which is very interesting. Median sales price is up quite a bit, but active listings were also up 67.6%. And I know we kind of talked about this before. You had done a little bit of research into it, that it was a pretty healthy variety of land, residential, commercial listings, all as a whole. So that's really interesting, and it'll kind of be interesting to see how that plays out. But even though there's a large increase in listings in Fannin County, it is coming at a price because the median sales price has jumped up, over 35%. So with that, active listings jumping up so high, it does bring the months on inventory up a little bit as well. So that's a little bit of a change we saw in Fannin County last month. So again, that will be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and one thing that we're seeing with that is, Fannin County has always been, growth naturally goes up Highway 75 towards Sherman from the DFW area. And now we're starting to see it really branch off into, especially Southwest Fannin County, like Trenton, some of those Blue Ridge, some of those areas are really high demand. But stretching all the way up towards Bonham, we're seeing, more and more people go that way for those affordable prices and just more options, more land. So yeah, just wanted to point that out as well. All right.
So moving over to Sherman, same thing, median sales price up, active listings down. Closed sales were actually down 9.3%, and months on inventory were under 1, which is crazy to think of, but yeah. Same thing, very high demand there's tons of buyers out there, approved, ready, willing, and able, and the issue we're still seeing is just lack of inventory.
Right, absolutely. And one thing to point out is with this lack of inventory, it's not necessarily just that there's no homes to choose from. It's that homes are coming on the market and they're being put under contract so quickly with that buyer demand that we see. So that's something that I wanted to point out. It's not just, there's nothing to choose from. It's just homes are turning over really quickly, and there's a lot of people that are in these markets looking to invest in real estate or buy a personal residence. So
yeah. Denison, same thing, median sales price up, active listings down, closed sales up, months on inventory very low.
Yeah. And it's really the same thing. Like if you get into Van Alstyne, and they did have they've got an increase in active listings. Their sales price has really jumped up over the past 18 months. They used to be in the mid 200s, low 200s, not too long ago at all. And now they're getting close to the mid threes, low threes, low inventory there as well. And it's going to be the same thing for Gainesville. So we're really seeing the same trend. Limited inventory, prices are increasing, and active listings are pretty low. One thing I wanted to talk about is, because we keep hearing, one of the things that we heard towards the end of last year coming into this year is interest rates are on the rise. I wanted to just share this graphic and talk about what that looks like right now. So We had people, this is a trend from 2018 all the way to today. Back in January of 2021, if you refinanced or bought a house, you got a really, really good interest rate under 3%. Now we're starting to see interest rates around 3.5, or a little over 3.5%. And they're projected to go up. So this next graphic, I just wanted to kind of share what that may look like if you're thinking about buying and you're thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to wait, or I'm going to go ahead and buy today at today's interest rates and today's prices, or I'm going to buy next year at next year's rates and next year's prices. Now, one thing I want to point out is this is a national rate of appreciation right here that's forecasted for 2023. If you're looking in North Texas, over the past 2 years, we've been in the high teens, low 20% appreciation. So you can just imagine, instead of 6.3% appreciation year over year, you're looking at possibly in the 20%. So these numbers could drastically change waiting from now till the future. But over the life of the loan, if we're just going off of the national average of 6.3%, if you go from a 3.5% rate to a 3.8% rate, and you have that price appreciation, it's going to cost you an extra $50,000 over the life of that loan. And once again, here in North Texas, Grayson County, it could be much more than that over the life of the loan. So anyway, I just wanted to go over that.
It's been kind of crazy too, that we kind of see on our end of things when putting in offers with your clients, is with the rates steadily rising, especially this past couple weeks, month or so. A pre-approval letter you might have gotten 3 or 4 weeks ago may not be, what it is currently. So with interest rates steadily rising, that's something you want to be very aware of as a buyer, that just because you got a pre-approval or pre-qualification letter, 2 or 3 weeks ago, doesn't mean that rate is going to be the same thing that was on that original piece of paper. So it's very important to be in constant communication with not only your lender, but your agent, and making sure everyone's on the same page, because you don't want to put in an offer where you're thinking your rate is, 3%, and all of a sudden things have jumped up and you're at 3.5 or 3.75 and things look a little different financially. So that's something, to be very open communication wise with your agent and your lender, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. And that's something, even good lenders, in my experience, are reaching out to me, they're reaching out to my clients, and I'm sure, same with you. And they're saying, hey, our buyer got pre-approved at the end of the year last year. Rates have gone up. I just want them to be aware that their buying power may have decreased based on what they were looking at last year. And that's what we talk about, the cost of waiting versus buying today. So the next thing we want to jump into, and this is, Taylor, I'm sure you've seen it, is the biggest challenge that sellers face in today's market. And that is needing to sell your home and get that equity so that you can buy the next one. And whenever it comes to that, with the way the market is, it's extremely competitive among buyers. If you add contingencies onto your offer, contingent upon you selling your house, it drastically decreases the chances that your offer is going to get accepted. Taylor, what would you tell somebody if they're like, hey, I need to sell my house before I can buy? What are just a couple of pieces of advice that you would say, as far as just saying, let's get together for a little bit of a strategy session and have a plan there?
Yeah. So the most important thing to remember too is, like, not every single person is going to have a different scenario and a different situation that they're in. So what works for one person may not work for another. So it is very important to kind of sit down and strategize what your options are, whether it be, temporary housing, or if you're asking for a lease back when you're selling your house, or you're taking advantage of, our buy before you sell homeward program. There's so many different things that need to be talked about up front, just kind of going back to that clear communication, because if you are not on the same page as your agent and your lender and everyone else, it's going to put you at a disadvantage when you're going to put in offers on properties, or if you're trying to sell your house, whatever the case may be. So it's very important to have these conversations up front and strategize and talk about what are the best options for you, because it's going to look different for every single person. But with saying that, there are options out there. And it's something that if you've been interested in looking at selling your house and you're just worried about where you're going to go or how you're going to get under contract, because it can be very stressful, it's very important to have that conversation with your agent beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick, you had mentioned our buy before you sell program, and I want to talk about a couple of benefits of that program and what it is. It's a program that allows you to get a home under contract and buy that. It's a cash offer through our partnership with Homeward, and it allows you to not have to move twice. So you're not having to hire movers twice. You're not having to get storage units. You're not having to find a rental house. And it allows you, it gives you as the buyer a ton of leverage to not have that contingency and to be making a cash offer.
Yeah.
It's something that we have seen make a huge difference, just for our buyers, for our clients, people who are in that position where they have to sell their home and in order to buy the new one. It really can change, it can change somebody from having to put in, 10, 20 offers. I don't know if I've had anybody put 20 offers in, but I know we've both had somebody put at least 10, because they're in that situation, and maybe they're not open to looking at that. But the people who take advantage of those programs, it absolutely is a game changer for them financially and just for their lifestyle. So
And just pure convenience.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand too, in this market, a leaseback is almost mandatory, it seems like, with things. And yes, leasebacks can be very beneficial. You close on the house, the seller gets to stay there for an additional amount of time, but honestly, it is a headache for everybody. And it's scary when you've closed on a house, but you're waiting for the seller to get out and things. So it's just one of those programs that adds so much convenience to your life. And that's one of the big things right now too, because with the market being so stressful, anything you can do to alleviate that stress is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. To kind of wrap things up here, the last thing I'll leave us with is, if you're thinking of buying or selling, it's not like it ever has been before. It's not something where you can just be like, you know what, I think I'm just going to kind of call my realtor and just jump into it. You need to have a very serious plan of attack on how you're going to get your home sold, get into the next one, or if you're just looking to buy, how you're going to buy your new house. And that's something that Taylor is great at. She can sit down and talk with you all about the strategies, all about what we're doing to put our clients in a position where they're going to succeed with their real estate goals. And so I can't stress that enough. You have to have a plan. You really need to consult with somebody who does this full time, who knows what they're doing, and has a track record of helping their clients succeed in this market. So Taylor, anything you want to add to that?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to this market update. And if you have any questions, be sure and reach out to us. Once again, Taylor Vinoy with the Mills team, and I am Cory with the Mills team. I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you soon.